Well, everybody, Fallout, the TV show, could not have come out at a better time, because Iran has launched a barrage of drones towards Israel, officials say. This happened about 4 hours and 30 minutes ago. I've actually purposefully saved this topic to be the last thing I cover in this stream, to give as much time as possible for official information to be out. And, so I can do as little speculation as physically possible in this video, because I just don't like speculating. I don't want to pull a Hassan, you know what I'm saying? But I'll go ahead and catch you all up on the main pointers. And frankly, I haven't followed this super closely myself. I've been live and covering different topics, so how could I? So I'm learning with you guys here. Vosh's stream was rough with speculation today. Well, I mean, I don't think there's really much else he could do, though, because, like, he can't just speed up time and make there be more stuff known. It's like that's the downside of live coverage of these events, is really all you can do is speculate, and that speculation opens you up to a lot of very easy clippable moments, like Hassan's, it was probably a JDAM moment, or JDAM missile, or whatever. So, what we're covering. The Middle East has been plunged deeper into uncharted waters after Iran launched dozens of missiles from its territory towards Israel in an unprecedented retaliatory attack. The vast majority of missiles were intercepted outside of Israel's territory by aerial defense systems, its military said. There have been no reports of injuries suffered directly through Iranian strikes, according to Israel's emergency service. Iran's foreign ministry said the attack was in retaliation to a deadly Israeli strike on the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria, earlier this month. I think this was, like, a little bit expected. Like, whenever that consulate got struck, I think a lot of people were like, is it happening? Iran versus Israel? Is it going to happen? And then we all just kind of forgot about it because a lot of other shit happened. OJ died and shit. And then now Iran's like, JK, we're not over it. You know? Fuck. They said, JK, they're not over it, guys. U.S. air defense systems in the Middle East also intercepted some Iranian drones. According to the two U.S. officials, U.S. President Joe Biden, who met with his national security team in Washington on Saturday, said in a social media post that the U.S. is committed to Israel's security against Iranian threats, and it is an ironclad commitment. I get they're important and all, but God, I hate that we have to go back to deep-throating Israel now after all the progress we've made. Fuck. God. Holy shit. Okay, we're gonna catch up on all of this now. Iran launches drones towards Israel, officials say. Here's what we know. Iran launched dozens of drones towards Israel on Saturday following an Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy complex in Syria earlier this month. According to the U.S. National Security Council spokesperson Adrienne Watson, the attack is likely to unfold under a number of hours. Quote, we are following the threat in the airspace. Quote, it's a threat that will take a number of hours to arrive in Israel. Israel Defense Force spokesperson Danielle Hagari said late Saturday local time, asking Israelis to be vigilant. Apparently, from what I know, apparently there are still, like, drones and like, missiles and shit going over Israel as we speak, getting shot down by the Iron Dome and like, Summer Landing and hitting stuff. So, like, it's sort of just a barrage, and you have to understand that, like, Israel is here, and then you've got a good amount of land, and then a bit of sea, and then you've got Iran, and then you've got Afghanistan next to it. So, like, Iran's actually pretty far from Israel. You don't have that mental map in your head right now, hopefully I've helped you kind of, like, mentally imagine that. It's actually a really long distance, so it takes hours for the drones to show up. So there was warning that they had left, that the attack had begun, and it was just hours of us waiting. Just, what's gonna happen? Is the Iron Dome gonna handle it? is the anti-ballistic missile system that Israel also has. Is that going to handle it? Are some going to get through? The Iron Dome and what's the anti ICBM like system called? It's biblical. It's like a biblical thing. I forget. Like, are some gonna get through? Because you have to remember, these systems only protect the largest, most populated areas, right? So if they're hitting small settlements and, like, important areas that aren't as well defended, there's a good chance some stuff gets through. I don't want to speculate a lot, but I'm just talking about, like, from what I know about the systems in place, like, there's a lot of curiosity. What's going to happen? Because David Sling, thank you. Zach Fletcher, that's what it's called. David Sling. That is the name of the anti-ICBM system that Israel has. It's a bit like in Fallout New Vegas, where Mr. House has, like, the anti-nuke defense system set up around New Vegas, and that's why it didn't get hit directly. Israel pretty much has that. But way worse. Way, way worse. Nowhere near as good as Mr. House's. Okay. Israeli settlers storm village in West Bank and kill at least one Palestinian. Why? That was 22 hours ago. Why is that there, though? Is this just updates on what is happening? Like, good God. We'll go to all then. No reports of injuries directly through Iranian strikes, according to Israel's emergency service. Well, hey. Well, hey, isn't that good? That's a good thing. Listen, you have to know. I'm going to give you guys the hot take here. Guys, hot take. Iran aren't the good guys. If Israel and Iran go to war here, if we're going to break it down to there's a good guy and a bad guy, Iran will be the bad guys. Because Iran is going to attack civilian populations on a scale that make what Israel was doing in Gaza look like child's play. While Israel might not have the capability to do that to Iran. Like, Iran's the powerhouse of the Middle East. I'm sorry if you're from any other Middle Eastern country than Iran and you're coping and seething at this right now, but Iran is like... If you look at a city, like a picture of a city in Iran, I could trick you into thinking it's like Denver, Colorado, or something. It's very much like a powerful, wealthy, developed, educated, high quality of life, well-armed. They have a nuclear program. Their fucking geography is top tier. Their nation is a castle of geography. Iran is not a force to be reckoned with. They are the America of the Middle East. If there is any group that is the America of the Middle East, I don't think it's Israel. I think it's Iran. I think everything is in Iran's, like, playing field here, besides the distance that they're attacking from. The thing is, they're going to be able to fight a proxy war by supporting Hamas and other insurgent groups. And, like, terror groups. Like, that's what's going to be the majority of the way this is fought. There's going to be some barrages and volleys sent over to Israel, I'm sure. But, like, a lot of this is just going to be a proxy war. Like, it's going to be funding and arming and supporting Hamas, more so than they already have been. I think there's... I'm wondering what the Houthis are responding to with this. Like, the Houthi militants that have been taking ships and in the... was the Red Sea? Like, the Israeli government, the Israeli government's pretty fucked up, but at least they're not a Putinist dictatorship yet, and Israel can be saved without a violent revolution because they do still have a democracy. Can't say the same for Iran, sadly. Yeah. I think it's also worth noting that the people of Iran actually quite like America. Disposition of Iranians toward America polling. I'm trying to find a study on this. Oh well. Take it with a grain of salt then, but my understanding is that a decent amount of people who are just civilians in Iran like America. In fact, there are a fair amount of people who come from Iran and immigrate to America. It's not exactly like... there's not exactly going to be overwhelming political support for this war, I don't think. I mean, maybe though. Maybe there's enough. Maybe there's enough disdain for Israel though among Iranian citizens that they would support a like a battle against Israel, like a war. You know, like trying to have some like saber stabbing, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna poke you with the spear a little bit, you know, I'm gonna poke the bear a little bit, but we're not really going to war, you know, we're not going... Well, what's the term that Israel has for if shit really goes down? Like, if Iran has nukes and launches nukes at Israel, there's like a plan for it. It's called the Samson option, I think, in reference to the biblical story of Samson, the world's the most powerful Jew in history. Basically, his parents were visited by an angel, and the angel told them that their son is going to be the most powerful ever as long as he never bathes, washes, cuts his hair, or anything like that. And so he doesn't, and then by the time he's like 20, he can rip a lion in half with his bare hands and kill thousands of men with nothing but like a bone, like a shard of bone. And so, yeah, pretty crazy shit, but it ends up, and he ends up getting his eyes gouged out and like fucked up, and then they cut his hair, and he's used as like a work mule slave for quite some time, and then finally they bring him to his judgment to be executed, and at that moment he calls on God. At that last moment before he dies, he calls on God to empower him with this strength once again, because his hair's grown back, I guess. And he gets like his fucking Super Saiyan powers back and collapses the entire building, killing everyone, all of his enemies, and himself. The Samson option. That is Israel's final plan if all goes for worse and Israel's going to fall in war with another country. They plan to end the world. America knows about this plan. Everybody knows about this plan. It's not like a secret. They've outright said, if Israel is threatened to the last like leg, we will literally nuke the planet. It'll never happen, but the fact that Israel openly just says like, yeah, we'll end the world. No, Samson survives? Bullshit! Bull fucking shit. No, he doesn't. That's how he dies. That ruins the story if he survives. How many more people did he kill after that if he survived? I want to hear the rest of Samson's murder stories then. Holy shit. No, he doesn't survive? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, he died there. I'm pretty certain. Did I miss a page? Okay. There have been no reports of injuries suffered directly through Iranian strikes, according to Israel's emergency services. However, the Magen David Adom, or the MDA emergency service, says it was called to treat a total of 31 people who suffered minor injuries while making their way to shelters and who suffered panic attacks during the drone and missile strikes. Remember, these are not military targets that Iran is going to be going after. It's indiscriminate. And I don't think that Israeli civilians deserve to have indiscriminate death showered upon them, potentially, just because the Israeli government showers indiscriminate death upon another group of people. I don't think that's a justification, especially when Iranians aren't the ones having the death showered on them by the IDF. This isn't self-defense. In no universe can you justify this as self-defense. This is an ideological justification being used to engage in a conflict that has been basically, like, guaranteed to eventually happen for a while now. It was just gonna happen eventually. Iran and Israel have been at odds as superpowers in that part of the world for a while now. An hour and 7 minutes ago. Sirens sound in Golan Heights after 25 projectiles fired from Lebanon, Israeli military says. Whew. Do we have any video? I bet if we go to live TV on CNN, they're covering this now. There's no way they're not, right? Guarantee you they're covering this live, right? An ad? Did my ad block it? Baller.
We're just getting a statement in from the White House right now. MJ Lee, our senior White House correspondent, is joining us from the White House. What is the president saying, MJ?
Well, we've been waiting for this readout of the president's phone call with the Israeli prime.
This is what you see in the sky when you're doing an automaton mission in Helldivers and you look up.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and let me just read for you a part of the statement that discusses that phone call. It says, I've just spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu to reaffirm America's ironclad commitment to the security of Israel.
Yeah, I told him
that Israel demonstrated a remarkable capacity to defend against and defeat even unprecedented attacks, sending a clear message to its foes that they cannot effectively threaten the security of Israel. So, Wolf, we're getting the first sort of clear indication of how the U.S. is discussing with Israel these Iran attacks against Israel. I'm also learning from a senior administration official, Wolf, that in this phone call with the prime minister, the president made clear to his counterpart that the U.S. will not participate in any offensive operations against Iran. So that is really significant, drawing a line on what...
No way in this term does Biden allow boots to go on the ground. Like, unless America is struck or attempted to be struck, even then, I don't know if Biden would take the hit to his approval rating of putting boots in the ground. That would be political suicide for Biden. Unless we were literally 9/11'd again. And even then, I don't know if there would be support for it. I don't think we're gonna see boots in the ground, American soldier boots in the ground, during Biden's term, first term. It's just maybe in a second term where he's like, okay, now I don't have to worry about getting reelected. Let's actually handle this. Maybe then, but not when he needs to get reelected this bad and things are already this shaky.
What the U.S. is not willing to do, given what we've seen tonight with the U.S.'s involvement here in helping to knock down...
Biden needs to just, like, stay out of it and be a good boy. Just keep on being a good boy. Keep on canceling student debt. Keep on supporting unions and supporting LGBT people. Keep on pushing for, like, codifying Roe v. Wade. Like, keep on, like, improving the economy. Like, the most it has ever approved in, like, the last 100 years.
Some of these weapons that Iran had launched. And in fact, according to the same senior administration official, Wolf, the U.S.'s assessment earlier this year...
Okay, that explosion actually looked like a missile exploding against a dome.
Administration official, Wolf, the U.S.'s assessment earlier this evening was that almost all of the drones and missiles, I'm told, including more than 100 ballistic missiles launched by Iran, had been knocked out of the sky, and that no cruise missile made impact in Israel, according to this official, and that nothing of value was hit. You know, we were talking about earlier in the evening how the process is still unfolding of getting a full assessment of Iran's attacks against Israel. And this is the assessment that we are getting right now, that the president, in fact, told the prime minister that the assessment is that, you know, he should take this as a win because the U.S.'s assessment...
You have to understand this is going to feel the persecution complex of Israeli nationalists so much. So many of these people have grown up with bombs exploding above them every single day, and like political right-wing like Israeli nationalist media figures telling them, yeah, you know those people that are trying to bomb you right now? They want to kill us all. They want all Jews dead. They want us all dead. We have to wipe them out. It's them or us. Like, basically taught as the way of the world, the reality of the situation from, like, childhood. And you really can't blame them when a country that they were grown up and born into, maybe, has compulsory military service, and their childhood was filled with bombs exploding above their head. Not an excuse, considering the fact that Palestinians have bombs falling on their heads, but still, the point stands clearly. The radicalizing factor is there.
Is that, largely speaking, Iran's attacks and attempts to hurt Israel have been largely unsuccessful. So this is a pretty critical piece of reporting, our first piece of reporting, sort of getting a really clear sense of what the U.S.'s assessment is of Iran.
When I said, wow, that missile exploding actually looked like a missile exploding against a dome, did that come off to you like I thought there was a dome? The Iron Dome doesn't even defend Israel in a dome-shaped way. It's a system that defends the most highly populated, dense areas of Israel. It's like a speckled area. I took you too literally? I guess so. But I mean, regardless, the information gotten across there is still important.
Iran's attacks, and also how the president is viewing all of this and how he spoke about this with the Israeli Prime Minister Wolf.
A very, very strong statement of support for Israel from the President of the United States following his phone conversation tonight with the Israeli.
Man, the never voting for Biden types are gonna eat this up.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We're of course going to stay on top of this. MJ, thank you very much for your reporting, and to our viewers, thanks very much for joining me. Our special live coverage will continue with Jim Sciutto right after this quick break.
Well, I only got 3 minutes until my free trial of CNN Live runs out, so I guess I'll have to skip ahead. Oh, we got video, okay. I guess I'll use up the timer.
says Iran fired more than 200 missiles and drones on Israel overnight, with the vast majority of them shot down by both Israeli and U.S. defenses before reaching its airspace.
That's like
Tehran called that a response to an Israeli strike on Iran's embassy in Damascus earlier this month. Hours ago, an Israeli official said the war cabinet received an authorization to decide now how it will respond. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken on the phone just in the last hour with U.S. President Joe Biden, and Washington has asked Israel for a heads up about any possible response.
Dude, let's just hope to God Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't type up, right, down, down, down. We just gotta hope to God he doesn't do that.
Israel says a 7-year-old girl was injured by shrapnel from an interceptor missile, but there are no injuries directly from the Iranian attacks. The IDF released this statement earlier this evening.
Tonight, Iran launched a large scale of coordinated attack on Israel. The regime in Iran fired a massive swarm over 200 killer drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles towards the state of Israel. Together with our allies and partners across the region, we are operating at this very moment to defend Israel from Iran's attack. So far, we have intercepted the vast majority of incoming missiles by Israeli systems. So far, we have intercepted and are continuing to intercept dozens of attack drones, as well as cruise missiles and ballistic missiles outside of Israel's border.
CNN's Nick Robertson is monitoring the situation from Jerusalem. As we can see there, the sun coming up the morning after. He joins us now live. Nick, the Pentagon is saying it is detecting that this missile barrage and drone barrage has now subsided for now, and I wonder if that corresponds to what you're seeing.
They were poking the bear. I doubt that we're going to see much damage or casualties come out of this attack based on the reports we're getting now. This is just the start, for sure, but it's also... How representative do you think this is of Iran's capabilities? They are the most powerful, arguably, country in that region. It's really hard to say whether or not this was just their announcement that this was going down, like just a little confetti throw, or if this was a genuine vanguard, like, attack of sorts, you know? Like their start, they're softening up. If that's the case, then not very impressive, you know? Like, not actually that impressive. They can shoot down almost 200 missiles, but whoops, we can't stop bombing aid vehicles in Gaza. Yeah, it is... Oh, we ran out of time, damn. It is really funny how much they brag about their extremely advanced capabilities and how awesome their military is and how advanced it is and how well-trained they are, but also they're just constantly fucking up by accidentally killing innocent civilians and children. I mean, usually they don't even, like, do that, though, to be fair. Like, usually it's just straight up, like, they're using human shields. Hamas was using human shields, so we shot through the human shields. What were we supposed to... We didn't know they were there. It's like, well, they were using human shields that you couldn't see? What's the point of using human shields? Do they think that, like, their bodies would shield them from the blast? That's not how you use human shields. So either you knew they were using hostages to try to keep you from attacking, and you attacked anyway, or you didn't get enough intel before attacking, and you do that chronically. It's kind of, you know, that's sort of the big dilemma with Israel, right? Borp. More Borp incoming. Oh. Canada unequivocally... Oh my god, I can't stop burping. Help me. Oh. Oh. I survived, chat. I survived. Canada unequivocally condemns Iran's attack on Israel, PM Trudeau says. Who the fuck cares? Canada, get your ass out of... Who the fuck cares what you think, Canada? What? Who the fuck cares? Canada has no part in it. What part does... I know Canada has a part in it. I'm just giving Canada shit, but... U.S. Defense Secretary asks Israeli counterpart to notify U.S. ahead of any potential response to Iranian attack. U.S. Defense Attorney Lloyd Austin has asked his Israeli counterpart, Minister Yoav Gallant, to notify the U.S. ahead of any potential response to the Iranian attack, according to the U.S. official. The two spoke on Saturday evening, hours after Iran had launched its massive barrage of drones and missiles at Israel. According to an Israeli readout of the call, Gallant briefed Austin about Israel's defense operations so far and stressed that Israel is ready for any further attacks. So I honestly think... Careful, Zan, someone might clip you? Saying what? I honestly think we might see a response from Israel by tomorrow night. America time. Like, tomorrow night in America. It really doesn't seem like Israel's gonna, like, slack on a response to something like this. It feels as though there's sort of a nationalistic pride in responding with violence and retaliation to an attack like this. I'm expecting a very, very imminent doubling down from Netanyahu and Israel. And I'm guessing that we're going to get information on any attacks as they happen, because supposedly the defense secretary in Israel is supposed to tell our U.S. defense secretary, Lloyd Austin, about any plans they have to counterattack. So that at the very least, U.S. officials will know shortly before, if not as it's happening, and we will find out from U.S. officials. So... yeah. Listen, guys. This is not going to be World War III. I see some people saying World War III. Guys. This isn't going to be World War III, okay? This is not going to be World War III. I know I mentioned the whole Samson option before, and that is a thing, but it's not going to happen. I don't think that anybody is likely to allow it to happen. Every time we've come, it seems like it's harder to make that apocalypse happen than it is to have a near apocalypse, you know? Like, there's all those stories of times where, like, a nuclear payload fell in the middle of, like, the heartland of America out of a plane due to a faulty, like, trapdoor, and it just sat there for weeks, and eventually they located it and was like, man, thank God these didn't detonate on impact, huh? And there's, like, that one, fuck, what am I thinking of? The story where the miscommunication went through to launch nukes from Russia, and the guy didn't do it. The guy didn't agree to do it, and it was able to buy enough time for them to find out it was just a technical difficulty. There was no nuclear war. The U.S. was not launching nukes, and Russia did not need to respond with nukes themselves, which would have started, World War III, a nuclear, world-ending thing. Yeah, it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, like, the world has nearly ended so many times in nuclear fire, but, like, somebody always is like, wait a minute, before I end the world, let me make sure. Because if I hit this button, the world ends anyway. But if I don't, and this is all a mistake, I prevent an accidental ending of the world. So you gotta understand that, like, I don't know if anybody... There's gonna be a lot of justifications people will make for not hitting that button. I don't know. I don't see, like, a nuclear World War III happening. I think it's a ridiculous fear for people to have, but, man, people really are concerned about it. Another thing is a draft. There will never be another draft in America. I promise you. Unless the aliens come, and we are forced to become Super Earth and start a galactic war against an enemy that numbers in the trillions in terms of their troops, then we will not have another draft in America in our lifetimes. Like, maybe if every country on the planet decided to unite against us, maybe then we'd have to have another draft. Probably then we'd have to have another draft, but yeah. There's a lot of saber rattling, though. Yeah, this is all for show. Like, the start of this, at least. It doesn't really seem like that was a in earnest, full-scale attack from Iran. I think Iran can do better than that. I would be really surprised if that is the best Iran can do to Israel attack-wise. Have you seen half of the left is defending Iran airstrike against Israel? Guys, Hassan is probably already jumping on that bandwagon. I saw he had like 40,000 likes in a tweet doing as such. Yeah, I mean, a lot of lefties, their politics are... They don't really have politics so much as they have a friend group, a social club. And their politics are more so a virtue signal that at any given time will get them the most positive support from that social club. And so a lot of, like, lefty groups online now are, like, on Twitter groups that are, like, pretty small and insular. And so, like, you'll get some tanky account just trying to out-tanky another tanky account to, like, rack up as many likes from, like, the anti-America tanky Twitter users as possible. Because these people base their entire self-worth on engagement on social media apps. And so all of their posts, engagement, what they say, what they do, is all centered around farming engagement from, like, the lowest common denominator on social media apps. So you can think of tankies and the types that are like this as sort of the chud anti-SJW gamer bros of the left. You know how the right has that, like, soft conservative, like, the dumbest type of conservative, the kind that thinks they are going against politics by being against gay people, like that kind of super dumb conservative, and they believe that unironically. That's the lefty equivalent, are these tankies that are immediately jumping to defend Russia when they attack Ukraine, Hamas when they attack, like, Israeli civilians, the Houthis when they attack civilian ships in the Red Sea. I mean, you could go down the list. And certainly here with Iran, attempting to strike Israel. I'm the only lefty in my friend group. I feel like at that point, that's probably better. Like, as long as you're not susceptible to having your, like, positions made conservative by them, you're likely to just have a positive impact on them, frankly. Yeah. I like this screenshot a lot. I don't know why, but there's something about this image that's, like, really pretty. I really like this lighting here. Like, this gamer lighting they got going on this, like, rooftop patio. Why don't we have these in America? Like, why isn't this type of building for apartments common here? I like this style. Like, there's this nice little, like, rooftop patio area, and it seems like most of the apartments are made to have, like, a lot of the interesting patio space. The shape is interesting. Like, this is Israel, right? Why does Israel have more interesting architecture than us? Israel's younger than America, right? I mean, technically, this Israel's younger than America. So it's like, dog. How have they figured out architecture better than we have? I don't know. Funding from the UN? Maybe. What is this, blue sky? Why would you send me this? No. No, I'm not reading this. Fuck you. Eat shit. Oh, wait, you're calling it cringe. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying... Yeah, somebody tweeted, hi... Okay, look at this. Hi, Aelwade, Cywin's hood and explosions seen in sky over Jerusalem as Iran launches drone and massive attack on Israel. Follow live updates. And then, like, the like, ooh face thing. Top reply, fuck you, eat shit, shut the fuck up, Christ, no one will mourn you when you pass. I'm going to shit in your laundry. Duke Nukem voice, what the fuck is this? Fuck you. People are just discovering that this account exists, huh? Fuck off, no. I'm so glad you're on here, I missed when I deleted Twitter. Jesus Christ. I love that half the comments are just fuck you, and the other half are shut the fuck up. That goes crazy. Well, hey, follow me for live updates. Ha! There's really not much else to update you guys on right now because the attack has ended and it doesn't really seem like there were any casualties or anything. But, well, hey, I hope you guys appreciated this coverage. I will obviously be on top of any further developments that happen in this seemingly war that has started. Maybe war? We don't know. Could just be a battle. Maybe it ends up being a war. Does this count as a battle? I don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. Thumbsing it up really does go a long way and helps a lot. Also consider commenting down below. Your comments really do help a whole hell of a lot. I'm curious to hear what you guys think is going to happen with all of this, so please, please, please comment down there and tell me what you think is going to happen. I like reading your comments. Consider maybe donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website if you want to support me financially. The same goes for YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. You can do that there as well. And of course, make sure to join my fan Discord if you haven't already. It helps so much. I've got all my announcements in there no matter what. Even if YouTube isn't doing announcements for some reason, you'll get them there when I go live or upload. We do, you know, events in there, watch parties, call-in streams, all that kind of stuff. I love building up that community, so please join. The more, the merrier. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video.